right, so as we're coming back into broadcast here, we're having a totally normal conversation about chemistry. That's completely appropriate. There's been no discussion of walls of shame, nor walls of fame, nor making my students I don't like carry around with the students I do like on thrones. None of that happened. And if somebody tells you it happened, that person is lying. And they're going right to the Hall of Shame, and they both start doing some push-ups because that throne, not light. Hypothetically speaking.
Why do you have to make it interested in it? Why don't you do
this? Because I'm a generous, benevolent dictator, except to the ones I don't like. All right, so what's this going to look like? Well, we're going to have a double bond to oxygen like that. And what do you mean no? That's what I said to do.
It has to be a quantum angle of 120 degrees.
Why? That carbon is?
Going to be, its attachment is always going to be that one.
Yep, absolutely. And it is sp2. And sp2, the best angle we can get is 120. Very good. So we should get this. And this can freely rotate, so it does not matter if you put the O on the top or the O on the bottom, the OH on the top, the OH on the bottom. We haven't talked about this much, but a sigma bond can actually rotate. It has a degree of freedom. It's able to move like this. So here we go. Lovely. This group, this functional group here, is indeed an alcohol and an aldehyde on the same carbon. And we call that a carboxylic. Yeah, I checked the spelling. A carboxylic acid, and specifically, this hydrogen is acidic. So this is what we call an arrhenius acid, which is just the definition. It's the only acid you guys have ever learned. It's an acid that when you put it in water, it releases a hydrogen. Later on in this course, we'll talk about different types of acids, things that have a different way of thinking about acids. But so far, you've learned what's called the arrhenius model, which means that when we dissolve it in water, that hydrogen right there is going to get released as an H+ ion. Which means that this has the same kind of behavior as hydrochloric acid, hydrobromic acid, or carbonic acid, or sulfuric acid, or sulfurous acid. All the different acids that you have worked with in chemistry so far, this behaves the same way. As it happens, carboxylic acids are much, much weaker acids than those inorganic acids, but they still have acidic behavior. Now, how do we name it? Well, we take ethane and we remove the E. And we replace the E with oic acid. So this isn't ethane, it's ethanoic acid. If you say oic, you're going right to the wall of fame. Shame. 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 I can't take it back. If you disagree with me, you go higher up on the wall of shame. Any other questions? Oh, you're gonna be at the peak of shame mountain. And if you're not careful, you'll be a Sherpa on the ascent up Shame Mountain, my friend. Yeah, the very poorly paid one who does all the risky stuff and does the same climb as the guy we say is famous, but has to carry all his stuff. It's like on these wilderness shows when they're trekking this impossible vista that nobody can walk on. And it's like, what about the guy holding the camera who's doing the exact same climb, but like this? Anyway, this is the thing I think about. Yeah, what's the name? Who's got to climb Everest? Okay, fair enough. The way we count everything in life, the first white male to do it was, right? Because that's what matters. The first European. Everything else is, oh, look at us. We did things first. Oh, look at us. We had math while you were still living in caves. I'm interested in when the white guy did it. That's what I want to know. So the first white guy to climb Everest was Edmund Hillary. Yeah, you're totally right. It is almost certain that he wasn't the first person to do it. Though there is some debate about whether people did make it before him or not. There's been some people who died in the process of the climb, but they think may have actually died on the descent. Isn't that interesting? So, yeah. So there are a few people whose sort of families still stake the claim that they were the first white male to get up there.
Would you really care? Like, would that be something you're like, somebody climbed a giant rock and died on the way down? I want that to be what my family name is remembered for.
Hey, you gotta remember for something. Yeah. But I'm always on the fence about these things. I have, like, my family has no, like, family heritage. We don't have any stories of, like, 200 years ago, my great-great-great-grandfathers formed this town, right? Like, the closest thing we have to that is my grandfather was the hockey scout who signed Bill Barilko to the Leafs, and that's it. That's, like, our big family lore. And, like, there's a picture of Bill Barilko with my grandpa, like, in my parents' house. And, like, so I don't really get the thing where families are, like, for 500 years. But then, like, when I met my wife, like, she was a Culp, and she lived on Culp Road in Vineland, in, like, a farmhouse that her great-grandparents built next to a barn that her great-great-grandparents built. And they have this big, like, rich family history in, like, the town they're from. And I can't relate to that, but I think it's cool. I think I kind of envy that. I think it'd be nice to feel like maybe I haven't accomplished anything, but somebody with the same basic genes that I did has. It's kind of like there's potential in there to do something. I don't know. Anyway. Yeah, see, but I don't know, I think it is interesting, right? Like, tracking family history. I don't know. What do I know? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know my family tree very well. I don't know. Have you guys done, like, the Ancestry.com thing? No? Yeah, maybe not. That's cool. Yeah, see, I think that's super cool. I want someone in my family to do that, and I want it to not be me. Is that so much to ask? I want somebody else to do a lot of work and then tell me about my own family. Right. So there we go.
You just send in your DNA and send you results.
Well, I'd also like it to be free. Is that too much to ask?
Yeah.
So this is ethanoic acid. And it's the same one we drew above. Here I'm just drawing it as a state diagram. I know. So it never requires a number because it's always going to be on carbon 1.
I did it.
All right. Go ahead and try this one out. See what you get. It's super easy. In fact, you might even want to redraw this as a skeleton diagram, and you'll see how easy it is, right? Because it's 1, 2, 3, 4 carbons. Coming off the second one, we have 2, and here we have like that. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, no, for once, you're frequently right. Find the longest chain.
And this happens like how bad you have to do to get to the very top position.
There's no shape.
It's not a safety.
Theoretically, what if in your head?
I don't have a shape. So this is a serious thing. When I was a kid, and even more so when my parents were a kid, like, shame was kind of a bit of an accepted teaching tool, right? Like we often had to do the thing where they'd, like, go around the room, and one at a time you stood up and said an answer to a question and things like that. It was always deeply embarrassing when you didn't know something. And that was kind of seen as part of education. And you know what? It was motivating in its own way. But it can also be horribly discouraging, right? It was good for the kind of student that I was, who was in the types of subjects I did well in, where, like, I had a habit of being a lazy student. And so that would motivate me. it was horrible for somebody who just struggled with the material. Like then it's just deeply unkind, whereas somebody who's legitimately putting forth a good faith effort and just struggles, now you're just centering that out in front of people. And that, I think, is a poor technique to teach people things, and also just lacks basic human kindness. Yeah, so there are certain people who maybe could benefit from a little bit of public shaming, but I think that's very few people. I think most people benefit from kindness. I think that's kind of my mistake.
I feel like so based on what you said that your shame was okay for you, but not some other people. I feel like it'd be really weird though if you're like the kid who's getting shamed every day, and then there's like everybody in the class always getting shamed, and there's the one kid who.
No, and that's why we've moved away from this as a technique. We've come to the basic thing that whatever the benefits of the odd kid who maybe needs a little kick in the pants, that maybe you can just do that with a one-on-one conversation. You know, hey Joe, your work sucks. Stop doing crappy work. There you go, conversation handled, right? Doesn't need to be public. Doesn't need to be in front of 30 people. No witnesses. That's not really what I meant. All right, what's this thing called? What do we got? Yes, ma'am. Didn't trick you. Didn't trick you by having the main chain go up. So if you look here, my first instinct is, of course, to make that the main chain. So I would have called this a 1, 2, 3, 4. I would have called it a butane, a butanoic acid, right? And then I would have said, oh, carbon 3 has an ethyl. So I would have called this 3-ethyl butanoic acid, which if you got that as your answer, you're on the right track. The only thing you and I missed is what Alondra did not miss, which is that the longest chain, in fact, can be found that way. And now how long is the chain? Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is an oic acid. It's carboxylic acid, but in terms of naming, it's going to be oic acid. This is a pent, and oh, that's the same color. And this, of course, is then what? Specifically a 3-methyl. Good. Again, am I going to call this 3-methyl pentan 1 oic acid? Why not? It can only be on 1. Again, there may be dioic acids. I feel like I actually have come across that in my experience, but even then, you know, it's going to be on the first carbon and the last carbon, right? But I have to confirm that. I can't remember off the top of my head if there's dioic acids or not. All right, last thing I want you to draw. Japanese honeybees are attracted to 3-hydroxyoctanoic acid, which is released by the orchid Cymbidium floribundum. This is true. I have orchids. I am not sure if any of them are the lovely Cymbidium floribundum. Hey, biology students, what did I do wrong in naming that? Does anyone know? It's an arcane little rule, but in biology, we always do what with these names? No, it's first, upper, second, lower, so that's right. It's supposed to always be, this is weird, italicized. It's supposed to always be italicized. Yeah, so somewhere Merg is going, Orlando. And then like by next year in the hall, she's just going to trip me. Like, that's what you get for not italicizing Cymbidium floribundum. I'll be like, I'm sorry, Merg. And she'll be like, sorry. I'm glad I'm not alone. All right, so go ahead and draw that, please. It's just me. Thanks. I appreciate that. Don't think that little bit of self-deprecation at the end gets you off. I'm not so easily bought. Yes, I am. All right, take a minute, draw that. Wednesday.
I can't figure out all the items, it's way too much on the paper. You could also do
All of what?
courses, so that you have enough, or if those going into it. Right classes.
I mean, it's also not the end of the world if you had to like come back and take something or take something online. You know what I mean? I would say my wife had an undergraduate degree in classical linguistics before deciding that she wanted to be a midwife, and she went back and got her high school science credits. It's not the ideal path, but it set her back 4 months, and then in the grand scheme of things, in a 4-year program, that 4 months was not a substantial loss of time. Anyway, I mean, by all means, get what you need, but don't panic. Panic doesn't help. Right? So what's this look like? Let's go back. Just 1 second. Just now, in fact. Look at me, right? Okay. So, what's this going to look like? Where do you start with drawing? Let me ask this. Hands up if you like drawing them better. Or I give you the name and you draw. Hands up if you like naming them better. Hands up if you like bacon better. Yeah. All right. All right. To me, I always look for the main chain first. And I find the main chain in the name. So what is the main chain in this name? Octane. Okay, so Octane tells me who sounds like the hero in like a bad 80s adventure film, Octane the Barbarian. But Octane is where we start. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I just start filling in. And to me, if I'm drawing it, there's no reason to make the chains go weird, right? There's no reason to have the main chain change direction. There's no reason to read left to right. Just, you know, put it down, number it, and I'll start putting stuff on it. So what's on it? Yeah. Yeah, so oic acid. So oic acid is what? Good. So we're going to have a double bond to O and an OH on carbon 1. And that is the carboxylic acid. Oic acid tells me I need to do that. That makes sense? What else do I have to do from this? Yeah, so this is actually also an alcohol. Now, it's not called an al because its main functional group is the acid group, right? But this is also a hydroxy, and it's going to go where? Carbon 3. So 1, 2, this also looks like a 2, but in fact it says 3. And there we are. You raise a good point. So there we are. Like that? Good, I can't even look at it. I'll leave you to decide. Okay. I'm going to throw just like I did with the others. I'm going to throw some homework questions on here. I've got a little quick 3-question quiz for you now. 2-question quiz, but there's an A, B, and a C to the first one. So really, it's, I guess there are 4 things you're going to have to do. I want you to do this on line paper. Put your name on the quiz on top. You do not need to rewrite the questions. If it helps you to rewrite the questions, you're of course welcome to do so. But just numbering them is fine by me. So I'm calling this our Festival of Shared Wisdom. Isn't that nice? So it's a festival of shared wisdom. Specifically, it's a quiz, and I'm wondering if I might not do better. I'll put 2 over here. Draw 2, 3, dibromo, hex 3-ene al. All right, so there you go. So 1 A, B, and C, and then just 1 question for 2. Take your time with it. Don't be shy to ask questions. Line paper. Where's I going with this? Oh, my brain is jello. Can't remember. Whatever. Good luck. Have fun. Oh yeah, just to repeat, you don't need to redraw the questions. Just what you have there is good enough. It's already drawn. Just nim. Nim is good. Yeah, you'll have to draw question 2, but not the first. No one gets left behind. I'm not going to stop for you, but I encourage someone else to. I'm kidding. I would stop for you.